Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn Pamphile. I am a registered nurse and I work at Chino Valley Medical Center on the Med-Surg Telemetry Ward. I have been there since January of 2023. And so when we first got this assignment, the first thing I did is I went to my charge nurse and asked her about whether a nurse informaticist was on board at the hospital. She did tell me that there used to be a nurse informaticist, but she retired, and instead of backfilling her position, they absorbed her duties into the IT department. And this really is very indicative of what a lot of organizations do. I do think that with the integration of Epic coming to the hospital, they will most likely need another nurse informaticist at some point, and maybe they will realize that. I did take the opportunity to talk to the charge nurse a little bit about what it was like when she was there versus when since she left. And she did say that it was very helpful. The nurse informaticist used to speak with the nurses, speak with nurse leadership, get nurses' opinions on new rollouts of technology. And that has pretty much ceased since she left. And so there has been a noticeable change because there is no nurse informaticist at my organization, and Chino Valley Medical Center is part of the Prime Healthcare organization. I did cold call another nurse informaticist I found online who works for Centinela Hospital in Los Angeles, and that is also a Prime Healthcare organization. They also use Meditech, which is the system that is used at Chino Valley Medical Center. So I called her and she was so kind. She did agree immediately to talk with me, and we scheduled a time. At the appointed time, I wondered if she would answer because, she doesn't know me at all. At our appointed time, the next day, she answered the phone and proceeded to talk with me for a while. Her name is Angela Swanson, and her title is clinical analyst. And so I asked her about her journey, and she said that when she was working as a nurse, she was interested in working on charting and making changes. There were things about the charting that she liked, things that she didn't like. And instead of just complaining about it or continuing to offer suggestions, she really wanted to be part of a solution. I asked her about what certification she held, and she does hold a master's in informatics. She didn't get it specifically for this job. She said she always wanted to just really obtain a master's. And so she figured I might as well get a master's in informatics because it is something that I'm really, truly interested in. She doesn't need it to do her job. However, she finds it to be extremely helpful. When asked about what it's like transitioning from being a nurse to a nurse informaticist and sitting at the table and how she is received by other departments, she said that, many times at the table, she's told that if they're going to roll something out, she has questions that no one else has. And it's because she knows exactly what the nurses are going to do. And because she used to be an end user, then she can really speak to that. And she also has relationships with the nurse managers and the nurses so that if she needs to, she can talk to them and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or how's this going for you, and make those tweaks. She really finds it challenging when people feel like because she is a nurse informaticist now, she's no longer a nurse, which that's not true. Also, when people think that because you work in IT, that you know everything IT, that's not true. She doesn't always get a chance to talk to the nurses when they're working on a project. So that's something that she does find to be a challenge. However, because she has her own experience, then that does make it less challenging. One of the things that I asked her is, what's your reporting structure? And she reports directly to the director of IT and directly to the chief nursing officer. Now, I thought that might get a little hairy, but she said it's really collaborative, it's great, and there's no issues. They really ask for her input and they all work together, and she feels very valued by both departments, and she doesn't feel a conflict ever. That is extremely rare. I asked her, what is your proudest accomplishment as a nurse informaticist? And her answer I found to be extremely endearing. She said, for me, it is the little things. the subtle things, the things in the electronic health record that improve notifications, improve communications, help it to make it easier for administration for admitting to speak with ED and get a patient through. And the little things that when nurses or people that have to work on the computer, it might be a month before they realize, hey, you know what? Wow, my job is easier. This is a really cool change. I didn't really notice it before. So I thought that spoke a lot to who she is, because she didn't mention any medals that she got or awards that she's won. She mentioned things that really, really, truly take the burden off of employees to make their jobs easier. So I was very impressed by her. I even asked her if she would be willing to speak to the informatics people at my job if there ever was one to come back, and she said absolutely. She gave me her number, and I found her to just be all around very collaborative and very generous with her experience. And so I had an awesome experience interviewing Miss Angela Swanson, and I feel that going forward, because of my experience, I will be more apt to create a relationship with the nurse informaticist, to offer, to volunteer, to say, hey, if you ever need someone to pilot something, I would love to be a part of it. I'd love to know what you're working on. Do you need any volunteers, any input? So I think because of this experience interviewing her, I'm looking forward to getting to know more nurse informaticists in whatever organizations I end up with. And who knows, maybe I will be nurse informaticist one day. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.